Hello everyone, RegiTime here, and this is a video of myself going to be playing some 10 fast fold on Party Poker, and I'm kind of going to hope to run like a little mini series for the next few weeks of myself effectively coaching myself at 10 fast fold. It's going to be done as a side project to my usual grind. I'm just going to be playing these games in the morning when my usual games are running on Sky and what have you, and late at night when Sky isn't running. I'm currently making this video at like 12:30 at night, and when Sky is kind of difficult to get many tables onto. It's just a side project to my usual grind. I'm probably only going to be putting 7 to 10 hours a week into it, I would imagine. But yeah, I'm hoping to create some content of myself, hopefully playing really well, hopefully explaining what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and then when we get some more hands, when we get to like 4, 5, 6,000 hands, start looking at some graphs, start looking at my database, just start looking at little things to see if I can spot anything that I've been doing that's not so great, any obvious leaks, and just go through the sort of self-check methods that I use when I'm playing it. I'm playing on sites where I can check my stats, and just like show you guys how I like regulate myself, how I check that I'm not doing too much of something or too little of something. So yeah, hopefully it'll be interesting for some of you guys who are learners and beginners, and inexperienced players or long-term losers. It's not going to be a series that's going to be any use to almost anybody who's already a winning player, I wouldn't imagine, because they'll already know about and be doing the things that I'm doing in this, and maybe doing even better, who knows. This is going to be a series very much aimed at the bottom end of the market, like the lowest, the 2-0 players, the 5-0 players who are hoping to come up in the game. If you're a 10-0 player or above that's already winning at poker, then this isn't going to be for you. So let's crack on. The videos aren't going to be much longer than probably half an hour to 45 minutes at a time, but I am going to try and produce a minimum of 2, up to who knows how many videos per week, depending on my schedule. If he checks again here on table 2, we're going to bet with the 5s, just for a little bit of value from some high cards and what have you. As he bets, we're just going to call, and we don't have any value to be had in the river. I don't think we can bet and get called by worse, so we're just going to check back, check down, and hope he's got like a 3 or just a random bluff that he's give up on. Wow, pocket kings. Interesting line by him, I guess. Checking back the bottom pair, no kicker. On table 1, I'm going to fold it when he leads into 2 players. Not fond of A7. Well, certainly not going to play the A7 suited, but versus the A7 versus the min raise and the min 3 bet. Even though the 2 pathetically small bets, I think we can just let the Ace7 off go. Mucking the Ace10 off under the gun. Ace10 suited obviously is going to be a mandatory open, but Ace10 off suit, well, technically it's middle position because we're 5-handy, but nevertheless, not a huge fan of like off-suited high cards, moderate kickers from early position. It's one of those hands that to a beginner it might look like a good hand, but it's going to get you in trouble more than it's going to make you money, I would imagine. A lot of like 4 and 5 handy stuff going on here. That's because with it being quarter past midnight, there's not too many players playing. So it kind of follows the iPoker method where it just waits till 4 players and just like forms a table. 3 bet the ace deuce suited rather than call with it. I would call versus like a 2.5x or a 2x, but versus a 3x, I think I prefer 3 bet. Not a big fan of 6-8 off suit, but versus a min raise, we're certainly going to see a flop. I'm not really sure what that min bet means, but we're not going to fall to it given that we had like a backdoor straight draw and a shit flush draw. We're just going to give up here. We're not going to try and bluff or anything. gets 10 cents again, and that's going to be enough for him to take it. That is a good flop on table 2. We're going to bet pretty damn big. Table 1, sorry. Tons of hands we can get value from here. Way too many to run through in short order, but flush draws, straight draws, 2 pairs, top pairs. Sadly, he didn't have any of them, it seems. And he just folded. And we're just going to let the 5s go here on table 1. Table 2, Christ, I need to get these numbers right in my head. How difficult can it be? Only 2 tables, and I've called them wrong twice. And we're not going to 3-bet the ace versus a full pot size open. Guys that you tend to like open for full pot from the button, they're not necessarily going to be some of the best players in the pool, which means they're going to be much less likely to fold to 3-bets. And we don't really want to be 3-betting a hand like ace 3 suited from the small blind and getting a whole bunch of action. Again, when we are 3-betting the ace 3 suited, most of the time we're hoping for a fold. So if we don't think we're going to get the fold, then in my opinion, just calling or folding becomes better, and out of the small blind, we don't really want to be calling too much because we get squeezed too often to the big blind. So therefore, by a process of elimination, folding became the line that I took, as you saw. So we flop like a weak gut shot and a weak backdoor flush draw with the 8-9 suited. We're just going to give up. We turn the flush draw now. We don't want to hit the 10 because clearly this gives an ace the bigger straight, but we probably are going to call. And now we're just going to fold the river. I'm just going to let the ace king go here. We called them in bet on the flop. Didn't think raising made much sense. We just called, and now it's gone bet call 50. It's 50 cents on the turn. We're just going to let it go. I haven't flopped too well yet, but the games are looking pretty good. So hopefully, when we do start flopping well, or at least flopping some draws, we're going to get a chance to play some pots and have some fun. King 10 might just be the best hand here on table 2. We're not going to get to find out for that price though. If you do see any hands that I've played here and either don't explain them to your satisfaction, or you don't understand what I've done, or I haven't said anything about what I've done or why I've done it, please do ask in the comments section. I try my best to reply to all comments, except from like the really aggressive negative ones. I tend to just delete them. Don't get many, but when I do, you're just not going to get my attention that way. And to bear in mind, my stats are certainly going to be skewed this session to look way more loose aggressive than I actually do play, because we are playing pretty much four-handed by and large. I expect my stats over the course of time to settle down to be around 20 VPIP and 15, 16 PFR. The 3-bet, who knows, over a small sample size, it can be pretty much anything, can it? Anywhere between like 4 and 12, I guess. Probably settling down somewhere around 5 or 6. It tends to be where I go with it. Jack 9's a little bit of a loose open from the cut-off, but the button isn't at all aggressive, so we get away with opening a little bit wider. No need to bet the ace jack. I think it plays just fine as a check back, especially against guys who we think might be loose passive and a little bit sticky. And then when we just get led into for a large bet, again we'll let it go. Now 2 win opportunities. Wow, we've gone down to 3-handed now. Don't really want to be doing that too often. Call with the 7-8 suited, hopefully flop really well. I'm going to go for a check raise here. Turn the pair. Please fold. Thank you. Probably should have opened the Jack 8 suited blind versus blind there. Wasn't really concentrating. Gonna let hands like King Deuce go though. At least like the Jack 8s offsuits and the 10-8 offsuits and what have you. You know, they can flop some reasonable top pairs, or they can like, flop some kind of straight draw from time to time. The King Deuce is just whatever, it's just complete garbage. How many players are actually in this lobby now? What are we down to? 15 players, but pretty much all one tablers. So we'll stick at it, I think. What was it Roman Reigns was saying at the weekend? Was it "this is my yard now" or something like that? This very much feels like it should be my yard at the moment. Playing some 10-0 fast forward against a bunch of one tablers really should be something that presents me with very few problems. Played his ace jack quite passively there, didn't he? Unfortunately, right now, the cards just aren't connecting. We're going to check back this 7-9 and we're going to plan on maybe betting the turn of the river if the turn improves in some way, like with the draw of some description, like an 8 or a 5 or a club or a 10. Given that it's hit us with the 9, we can probably just check again. Don't think I want to be calling an overbet from someone who's playing 42-6 with just second pair weak kicker. This might end up being the shortest intro video in history because, yeah, the pool's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Hopefully some guys come along and breathe some life into it, but right, we're going to fold the King Jack to Joey, who's folded 10 hands out of 10. This isn't me multi-accounting on party poker, by the way, for you guys who have seen me in the past playing under RegiTime. It's the same account. You just, from time to time, party poker allows you to change your screen name. And I have changed my screen name just today. Queen 3. think we probably had the second best hand here. Don't think we've got any chance of making him fold a 10. Obviously no chance of making him fold a 7. We're probably just going to check. And we had the joint best hand. Wouldn't it be great if poker was always like this? For those of you guys who didn't know what it was like in 2006, this wouldn't be far off. It's 62-14, 53-18, 40-27, 42-8. This would be a good representation of what poker used to be like during the boom. It's just a great sorrow for me that I wasn't of the ability nor had the attitude to at that time to make the most of it. Poker was just very much a hobby to me there, that back then I wasn't even like kind of thinking about turning into some kind of like career option or anything. It was just a fun game that I enjoyed playing, which is unfortunate. Backdoor everything here on table 1, so it's certainly going to stab at the flop when it checks to us when we get called in 2 spots, and that's going to be the end of the adventure. Hmm. 11 players. This is probably not ideal, guys. I mean, we could just step up and play some 25 and to finish the video, but I kind of didn't want to do that. But we might have to. Min bet here, we have literally nothing, but we are going to go for a raise and then take it from there. I'm just really worried he has like ace-4 or something. He's just going to go min bet call, min bet call, min bet call the whole way, and we just spew money off bluffing somebody who's got no intention of folding. So we took our shot. You know, if he is just donking random air there, he's going to fold it, and our 9 high is going to win. When he calls, and we've just gone for that spot so often, I think how strong can they be? And they're not strong, but they still call anyway. So we're not going to go for that spot. Finally, a real hand. The 9 kind of hits his calling range pretty hard there. It gives him some 2 pairs, gives him some straights, etc. He's going to improve some of his pairs to now pair plus straight draw. Wow, that is a really dreadful run out for us. I think I'm just going to check fold now. We don't need to be getting married to our races in this spot. It's just been an absolute shocker of a run out. There's so many ways he can have us beat here. 2 pairs sets, straights. Hopefully he just checks back and we beat who knows what. But I get a feeling a bet's coming. Wow, Jack 8. Never mind. Right, do we empty the clip here? Now the ace is it. We have no equity, of course, whatsoever, but if we can maybe get him to fold a 9 sometimes, a 6 pretty much all the time. Don't really see what ace X he has here. We're just going to go for it. Alright, he has ace X because he has 3 of them. Well played, sir. Just going to go with the jam here. Really expecting to be calling too often, but you might just have some worse aces that sometimes play that way. It's the guy that limped the ace on the button earlier, I'm not sure. We're going to call this river if he bets, I think. So we've got the second no flush draw and a good shot on table. Table 1. Well, my options were going to be raise or call. Now they're just call or fold, I believe. And we went with the fold option. Clearly, if you have the ace of clubs there, we're not going to be doing it. But if our opponent is raising the ace of clubs, then we're going to be in pretty rough shape. And even if he's not, if we do make a flush that ends up being the best hand, it's going to be mighty hard to get paid with it. And if he's flopped a flush, then we make a straight. That's a disaster too. That will be top set, sorry, middle set, which is something to be proud of. And we get massively donked into for the all-in. So we're just going to do a bit of that Hollywood in here, of course. I'm just going to snap call. I'm going to hope that Lovell comes along. Hope he's flopped a king with king queen or something like that. I'm going to raise out a good shot on table 2. And obviously we just jam in the turn here and just hope he doesn't have 2 kings or 2 jacks. Nope. Oh, what happened? Oh, he river quads. What the hay was that all about? That's unfortunate. Raise here again. Against Moobox and Neederswald. Yeah, that was a little bit disappointing with the 2 nines, we're not going to lie. King 4. Nope. Call or squeeze here. We'll go with the latter. It's going to suck if King Rotund just jams it in our eye because we're going to have to fold, but still think against these 2 players squeezing for value with King Queen is going to work out quite nicely. Sadly we don't hit, and we're not going to try and bluff recreational players on those types of boards. And he's just going to win. That's a straight on table 1. Wow, another pretty miserable run out on table 2. Not the best of turn cards on table 1 either. Wow. We're just going to lose on both boards. This is possibly the worst I can pretty much ever remember running on a video, and I'm just very pleased it's happening at 10-0. Don't recall running this bad for quite some while in terms of like board run outs or just getting sucked out on. We've had like 2 pair plus on several occasions now, and we either lost with it at showdown or just had board run out insanely badly for us. I think we're buried for this session. Yeah, 2283 stuck. In just 167 hands, we managed to lose 2 buy-ins in one of the softest games I've sat in for what seems like a very long time. And that's poker, folks, as Doll used to say on the old Poker After Dark intro. We have a top pair on table 2. We have a bad flop on table 1. We have a top pair with a straight draw now on table 2. And we've not made our straight. And we're just going to check back now on that board. And of course we lose again. This is, yeah, it's actually genuinely quite funny. I'm not laughing because I'm not much of a laughing type of guy, but what is going on here? He's min bet the flop, checks back the turn, and now he wants to just pot the river. No idea what happened there, but we're grateful for small mercy, I guess. That's how we're getting the money this time, guys. Hero calling with underpairs. That's how we're going to dig our way out of this hole that we haven't even dug the hole for ourselves, have we really? It's been dug for us and we've just been thrown into the thing. And it looks like possibly the game might be breaking. Oh, 12, we've got an extra player. Yep, don't think we're going to get out of this hole before the end of the video, but we're still going to show the video because it would be quite dishonest if we only ever showed videos where we won. Ace Jack, do we 3-bet or do we just call? Hasn't opened a hand yet in 10. Big blind might, we don't know anything about. We just call and take it from there. And obviously we're going to fold on this board texture. Awful good shot on table 1. It hasn't been huge out of line with this c-bet at just 50%. So again, some people with like a higher c-bet percentage, I can talk myself into raising in those spots, but not versus a 50% c-bet, albeit over a small sample size. Again, I would typically consider 3-betting 10-8 suited in games with more regular type players opening, but when a 41-7 opens a button, we're not going to be doing any loose 3-betting versus him, especially when someone in the big blind it looks like they could be a weak player. We don't mind it coming along for the ride. I'm going for a thin value bit on the river here with the King 9. Given he only has 10 big blinds, we're just going to make him play for all of it if he wants to. Not a good flop for our hand, I wouldn't imagine. Nope, he just has us pipped. Interested to see what my one-handed showdown percentage is at the end of this mini session. I'm not going to imagine it's too high. I think we're going to have gone to showdown not very often and won it even less. That is my prediction, unless things take a turn for the better. And call a small bet with a good shot. His sizing makes me want to raise. His stats make me not want to raise because I don't believe, again, as we talked about earlier, we're going to get guys making folds of Jack X there, etc. I like that flop on table 1. Get led into, which I like even more. Let me take it down. Wouldn't typically call this often out of the small blind, but we're just not in the game. We've been 0-3 betting, and bloating pots out of position against bad players isn't really ever a big part of my strategy. We are going to check raise our open and straight draw here though. I hope he folds. We're going to not mind if he calls, and we're going to be really sad if he jams. Just going for it now. Oh, and he calls. He disappoints us by calling, which is really quite upsetting. And it worked. Didn't hold out a ton of hope for that working there, but I kind of just banked on him not having a queen, because I kind of guessed if he had the queen he would have jammed the turn. So I just jammed, hoped he found a fold with the jack. Maybe, who knows, he just has some gut shot or something. Yeah, didn't hold out a ton of hope for that, but the main hope I was clinging on to was a queen at these stakes. Against the players that play in these games, I expect a queen to just like jam the turn. When I check raise the flop and then bomb the turn, I don't expect a queen to have the discipline to just continue slow playing. I expect it to jam. Starting to make a few hands. It's a bad card for us. It's going to really hurt our chances of getting paid, I would imagine. Fair dues. Fair dues. It's just going to be like that. It's just going to be like that, it would seem. Thought, we're on our way out, we're digging our way out of this hole, and then we get dragged straight back into it. Pocket 8 is going to be one of the better hands that I have here. On table 2, it's really quite difficult to make trips. And we win. I actually think we played. I'm pretty happy with how I played. We're buried. Well, we're not buried, but we're stuck. We're stuck like $16 in one of the softest games I've ever seen in my life, or certainly one of the softest games I've seen in a long time. But yeah, I feel like I played well. Quite pleased with how I played, actually. Yeah, I mean, I guess if we don't get stuck out on with the full house of night with the nines full, I guess we would be in profit right now. So it is what it is. Most of all, though, it's been fun. And any of you guys who know me, you know that I place quite a high value on fun in poker. Yeah, it's no fun losing, but yeah, when you got a bit of a black sense of humour, you can see the funny side of sports like this, especially when you're playing for stakes that, with all due respect to these stakes, I'm not too fussed about my results over like a short sample. I wouldn't want to play for the whole month and end up losing money and commit 40 hours or more to a project where I lose money. I'd be pissed off with that. But these sessions in isolation. I guess they're made for fun videos too, so yeah, big deal. And we're still, you never know, we might still get out of it. Well, I was just going to make a 45-minute video, but as the games are playing pretty well, and you're creating plenty of action and some fun spots, we might just make it a bit longer. There's no rules, we can do what we want, can't we? We're our own men, we're our own people. We can do what we want. How many people are in the lobby now? 9. No, I think we might just end up making this a 45-minute video. But just walking away from these fish, it's like, even though it's showing 10L, it goes completely against my nature. Goes completely against me. Who knows, there might be $50 or $60 to be had here before this game breaks. Come on, Moo. You folded to 75% of C-bet so far. Don't let me down. You didn't. We like that. Yeah, if we're going to have this whole waiting for players shenanigans. Wow, and all of a sudden we just get a 6 table. Down to 8. It might actually be a better game if just 6 unique players are in. Because then we just have like one table of, it doesn't play like fast fold anymore. It just plays like one cash table. Yeah, I think we're going to call it a video here, guys. Yeah, down to 8 players. Let's face it, the game's not going to run much anymore. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. There's certainly been some fun in it. We haven't got off to a winning start. We've lost, let me just refresh my Hold'em manager. We lost $15.72, but that's going to happen when you're on top boat into quads, I guess. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed making it, playing it, and I'm looking forward to what hopefully will be a fun little series for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever. Okay, we'll leave it there. Bye for now.